My first 14 years of life were in Mexico, in the northern state of Coahuila, in a town called Agujita, Coahuila. That town is about 75 miles south of the border, from, let's say, from Eagle Pass, about 75 miles south. Oh, that's my father. The community that we were living in, Sabinas, Coahuila. We live in Agujita, which was right next to it. He ran for mayor. In Mexico, they call him Presidente Municipal. That's a mayor in cities. And he was one of those very honest politicians. He would take the bus from Agujita to Sabinas, which was only maybe 10 miles or so. But some people would say, well, you ought to get a cab, or, said no. He didn't want to have any appearance of corruption or favors or anything like that. So he served 2 years. Yep. Teofilo Garcia was my great-grandfather. And the story about him is told by my uncle Francisco, is that when he was 4 years old in Palau, Coahuila, he was kidnapped by the Kickapoo Indians. The Kickapoo Indians used to raid this little community, once in a while, every 6 months, and come for food and steal stuff. And in this time, they took him. So the parents just didn't know what to do. They couldn't do anything. 13 years later, the Kickapoo come back into town to raid and to do their thing. So he gets hurt, and they leave him. They leave him, and the Indians go back. So he's laying around near a creek, and this family saw him, and they picked him up, took him in, and he was an Indian. He didn't speak Spanish. He spoke Kickapoo. This lady started humming a tune that he used to hum when he was a child. And when Teofilo heard that, he woke up, he starts humming, and they realized that there was the kid that was kidnapped. And so by that time he had married an Indian a woman, Petra, and so out of that marriage came my grandfather, and then my grandfather, my mother, etc. Early 1900s, there was a revolution that was starting. Jobs were difficult. All my uncles were farmers. And so one day, my oldest Uncle Tio Gilberto, Tio Francisco, he says, we need to do something. And he actually took a trip from their community, which was maybe 80 miles from the border. He came to Piedras Negras, which is on the other side of Eagle Pass. He crossed the border, and then he walked 60 miles to Uvalde, Texas. And in Uvalde, he took a train to San Antonio because he had heard that there was some work over here. And it was like 1912, 13. And they were building the Medina Lake Dam. And so immediately he found work. He got work back to the brothers and sisters. Hey, we got some work, come on over. So in the next 2-3 years, the transition started to the U.S. And so that's how they started, and they got here.
Not everybody has a family tree up in their room, or
pictures.
The pictures with the story, and you seem to always like to talk about your family history.
Right. I think it's a tribute to my mother. She always, since we were little, she emphasized the importance of family, and not like, you see, this is an example of why. No, she just emphasized it, and then as time goes by, you begin to see it. You yourself understand, oh, I can see why it's so important. And so it's not an easy thing to do. It's easy to say, well, we're a big family, etc. But you have to really work at it to make sure that it grows and develops in that way.
If you guys haven't guessed by now, was interviewing my father, so we're going to put him on the spot because he never answered the question. So who's your favorite child?
Jaime!
There you go. All right, thanks, Dad. Love you.
All right.